On this week's episode of the podcast, we're turning red. That's right. Carrie and I are sharing our thoughts on the first Pixar film to be set in Toronto, Turning Red. Stay tuned to find out what we thought. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us. But it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Bonjour, Carrie.
Oh, bonjour, mon ami.
Muy bien.
Oh, good grief.
Is that French? I don't know.
No. I didn't ask you how you were doing. I just said, hello, my friend.
Oh, hello. I figured we're talking Canadian Toronto movie. I figured I'd go like French Canadian. I don't know.
Well,
I didn't do well.
Are you ready for this week's episode?
Oh, ready. I like that.
I tried to slip in a dad joke there.
That was a good dad joke. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
I was trying to figure out like a totally Canadian way to bring in to start the podcast, and then the only thing I could think of was to go French, but I failed French in school, so yeah,
I took French all the way through to OAC grade 13.
Of course you did.
And
could
Italian
you really?
Yeah, I did.
Could you really have like a whole conversation in French?
No, because I need to be dropped into rural France, like parachuted into a rural area of France where like nobody speaks English. That's the only way that I'll learn to be completely bilingual.
You'd be forced.
Because you'd be forced. Because you always have someone to talk to, and I don't think my brain works that way for learning languages. A lot of times I can understand everything that's going on, and with Italian too. Because I used to go to like a different high school at night to learn Italian, because that's how much I wanted to like learn languages. I could understand it, but my brain, I can't spit it out. That's my problem. So again.
So if you're sitting in the middle of a couple of people having a conversation in Italian, you can understand what they're saying, but you couldn't chime in.
Yeah, like I couldn't now. Like back then I was so keen on it. I was like reading things, listening to things, I wanted to study it. I was so excited about learning these languages. And then when I was in college, at our community college where we live, I took even more French. Like, I would never, I gave up, obviously, but, I would, really, I just kept trying, because I was like, this gotta click one of these days. And then I realized after, a couple of years in, after high school French that, again, parachute is the only way that's gonna happen to me. So it hasn't happened yet. Maybe one day, maybe in my retirement, I'll parachute into a village. But until then, gosh. I just listen to French podcasts when I go to sleep sometimes.
Yes.
Hoping that maybe one day I'll wake up and I'll be...
You'll be bilingual?
I'll be bilingual. And that's the thing. I come from my one side of my family is French speaking first, and they didn't teach their children how to speak French.
See?
Same with the other side. Italian first. Didn't teach anybody how to speak.
Anybody Italian.
Yep. Came to Canada, was sick and tired of speaking Italian and eating pasta, married Canadians.
There you go.
But anyways, I tried.
French is mandatory for us in school for a couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah, I think well, I don't know anymore. It was until grade 10. Yeah.
Well, I never chose to take French. I had to. It was part of our curriculum.
When I was I think we started learning in grade 4, maybe when we went to school. I loved French. Oh my goodness, I loved it so much.
Oh my gosh, we would not have been friends.
School couldn't get any better. You get to have art class, and you get to volunteer in the kindergarten room. That's what I used to do in school. And then we started to learn French. And it was just oh my goodness, life can't get any better. Throwing a pizza day, a hot dog day. square dancing, square dancing, and how you would do a gym, like the different modules, like you'd have to do like all the different sports, but when it was square dancing, it was like hitting the jackpot. So like, school couldn't get any better in grade 4, 5, and 6. It was the best.
Oh my gosh, Carrie, yes. Square dancing was hitting the jackpot. Oh
seriously. I was like the only kid in school that probably loved when it was like...
I think so.
The one where like they made you dance, because I was like, I don't have to play sports. Like I don't, for however many weeks, I don't have to worry about getting a ball to my head. But, everybody thought square dancing was stupid, so I had to be like, yeah, square dancing, blah, blah, blah. But inside, I was like, yes. Yes. This is not competitive. Yes. I'm not going to hurt myself. Yes.
There you go. Canadian schools. Yes, we did square dancing.
Yeah, I wonder, did other schools do that in gym? I remember doing that in high school, too, I think.
Square dancing?
Like dancing or like some sort of one section of it being different, like not, I don't know. Maybe I don't remember, but I do remember that we had to do square dancing in gym. It was the best.
Yeah, and I think when I was little, we had like square dancing in gym, but never in a month of Sundays would you have gotten anybody at our high school to do square dancing.
Like when I only took gym, like as you only took French as you required it, I only took gym. Like
required it?
Like if it's only required in grade 9, I only took gym in grade 9. I did not take any other gyms. I only did the adequate math requirements, science requirements, and gym requirements.
Arts and crafts, I bet you did forever.
I had all by grade 11 first semester. I probably had already done up to grade 13 art because I wanted to.
That's funny.
Again, not friends in high school, but friends as adults. You'd be like, look at that loser over there. Like,
we wouldn't have been square dancing buddies.
Does she have an I love square dancing patch on her jean jacket? Remind me to try to beat her up after school.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny. Okay. Anyway, so
let's get back to the schedule.
That was our whole Canadian preamble. Canadian schools, French, the whole 9 yards.
Kind of appropriate because we're talking about our
adolescence. That's true.
Our adolescence, yep.
Which totally fits into this whole our review and discussion. I hate to call it a review because it's not a review. We've both watched it. We messaged each other afterwards. You said, "Did you watch it?" I said, "Yeah." Did you? Yeah. Did you like it? Yeah. Me too. Podcast done.
And that's a wrap. Episode 139.
But so it's not really a review. It's kind of like our thoughts, right?
Sure.
So okay. So yeah. So we were going to talk about it. Okay. So I've seen so much stuff online, Carrie, about everybody's opinions and stuff. I have to say, out of the gate, I was slightly disappointed.
Okay.
Only because when they first started doing the trailers and stuff for this, when they showed her turning into a red panda, I don't know whether it was my imagination, but I thought the whole story was that when she got embarrassed, she turned into a red panda.
Oh.
And that I thought the whole movie was about how she overcomes being embarrassed in situations as a young girl. But that wasn't the story. So then I was kind of disappointed in the story because I thought there was such a great story there in when you're that age, you're embarrassed about everything. Like everything embarrasses you. And so she would be turning into a red panda every time she got embarrassed. And then she had to overcome it. But I didn't realize it was more about controlling your emotions. And I guess we should have. So spoiler alert for anybody listening, we're going to talk about the movie in detail. So if you haven't watched it, pause the episode, go watch it, and then come back. Right? Okay. Right. So that's like the preamble spoiler alert for the whole episode. But yeah, so that I was a bit disappointed because I was really excited to see them take on like embarrassment. And just being okay with being silly and stupid and whatever and just getting over it. But on the flip side, I liked it. I loved the Toronto references.
Yeah, me too. I think the Canadian and Toronto references are like, they're like, the movie did feel like it was in Canada, like it was a Canadian movie. 100%.
It did. And that's, so they say that you can tell people, Canadians, because we both say like all the Toronto references. There is no second T in Toronto. That's how you know when somebody's not from Toronto, when they pronounce it Toronto.
Toronto.
But it really did, like, the streets look like our streets, the Daisy Mart.
Yep, the TTC,
like seeing the streetcar, that was kind of cool.
And
her bus pass.
The one thing that I thought, like, I was kind of confused at first, like before I really understood what was happening in the movie, I was kind of confused that it took place in 2002.
Me
so
too.
When it first started, I was like, 2002, like, is she thinking, is she going to be a teen, like is she going to be like a teenager or an adult now, like thinking back or whatever? Like, I was kind of confused why it was 2002. And then you figure, like, it has to be in 2002 because that storyline wouldn't work now because of social media.
Yes.
So
is that why?
So at first I was really confused. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, a little girl turns into a panda, and then like end of story. She's a influencer. She's an internet sensation. Movie over. Yeah, there's no keeping it a secret. There's no hiding it from the parents. There's no, like it's.
It had to be before me.
Like, they only needed to raise $800 to go to the biggest boy band concert in the world
at the Sky Dome.
And they could buy their tickets just before because they had a whole month to save up the money to find a way to make the money. I was like, yeah, that's old school. But yeah, I was a little confused at that. Like, I was like, why is it 2002? Like, why can't it be, like, wouldn't it be better to be a kid today? Like, with what's, what kids struggle with, and deal with today. But yeah.
So that's why they set it back in 2002.
I don't know. That's my assumption.
I thought that's what you were telling me, because I'm like, I couldn't figure. So I was confused too. I didn't understand, because then I'm like, they had flip phones, and I was like, why are they using no flip
internet?
phones?
There's no Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, like, it was weird to me that they had flip phones, and then I was like, they're doing it in Toronto, but why are they calling it the Sky Dome? And so, like, there were parts of my brain that was like, I wonder why they chose to do that. And then I found out that, yes, it was from 2002. And then I was like, oh, okay, now so much of that makes sense to me now. Mm-hmm. Which was a bit bizarre. So the whole point is her coming of age. Like, her going through puberty.
Which I think is awesome. Like, really, because when... Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I guess there's movies, like, I don't know, there's movies where girls are teenagers and tweens and whatever, the movies of the 80s, which are different than what you would see now. But I just thought it was interesting, like, how they portrayed her going through that, because usually we always see, like, to see that she's boy crazy and see that she's under her bed, like, sketching pictures of her, smooching the kid at the Daisy Mart. Like, I really thought that was awesome, like, showing that side of her, and that, like, because that usually isn't shown, right? Like, the girls are, like, giggling in the corner, but they don't show, like, the true angst that a young girl, the unmentionable angst a young girl at that age may be feeling, and the feelings that she's dealing with.
Yes. I really thought they were 100% accurate with that stuff. You're right, going to the Daisy Mart and, like, creeping around the corner to see him, and then you and all your friends, because you were all in love with the same person, because you all thought the same person was so dreamy, and you would hide around the corner just to get a glimpse of him.
And the fact that she didn't think he was dreamy.
Yes.
And then she started thinking about it, and you could see, like, there was things happening that she had no control of.
Yeah.
As she's coming to the realization that you know, things make her feel certain way. Like, you know, she started to have a spark or whatever, and, you know, like under the bed, sketching the things, like she didn't like him, but there's something uncontrollable happening. You know, she had to start dealing with it. She moved quick. She was sketching. She was making graphic novels underneath her bed. Draw like crazy.
And do you think about that? Were you at the same at that age? Like crushes everywhere and over
like
silly
Ralph
things?
No,
but I mean, boys in school. Well, okay, so online, yeah, or on the movies, Ralph Macchio. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I was definitely more a tween that had crushes on like
movie stars.
Movie stars, yeah.
Not in school.
Like, I don't know. I don't think so.
No?
Like I must have. I don't remember, but I remember like being. I remember being. I had friends that were boy crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't remember myself being too boy crazy, but I remember being boy crazy over like music and like musicians and stars and Will Wheaton and River Phoenix, walls plastered.
Oh my gosh.
With all that stuff, but
I did that too, but yeah, I was boy crazy. And my friends were like, there's my family always tell this story about in grade 6, my family threw me a surprise birthday party. And my best friend, Natalie, was in charge of the guest list. So she was supposed to invite everyone from school. And 5 minutes before I got home, my family realized that Natalie didn't invite any other girls. There were 25 boys in my house. And there were no girls. So my parents had to run out and grab extra girls to come into this party because Natalie had invited all the boys that we liked from school.
Wow. Yeah,
and there were no girls. That was my surprise party. Yeah. So I totally could relate to that. And then when the concert stuff. When she's like oohing and awing over them and they're crying and they're like so in love and we're all our boyfriends. Did you see when they were all talking about how their boyfriend, her dad, her Tamagotchi's dad, and then they're like, and he's going to meet his uncles because they've all picked out one. It was so cute. It was so cute. So I did love that.
Yeah, me too. At one point, I thought when the mom when she turned red and the mom like thought that she was getting her period. Yes. I thought like, is this whole like at one point before we really knew like the panda thing completely or saw it play out when it first happened, I was like, in the end, is this all going to be a dream? Because like the panda meant something different and it really didn't happen, but you know, or inner whatever turning into a panda. Like I thought, is this going to be deeper than what it should be? Like for a split second, I was like, yeah, like the panda probably means other things too. I'm sure. Like I'm sure if you read, like you can read into everything in this movie, maybe like. From the panda perspective. So for a minute I thought, is this all going to be a dream? Is this really real? Does she really turn into a panda and go to the Sky Dome and run the streets of Toronto, or did it really not happen? So I thought about that for a split second when that first was coming, because I'm like, red panda, you know, maybe like it's.
But, well, I think that is part of some of the feedback online is that people didn't realize that they were going to cover that of her, you know, her puberty. And I'll be honest, I think my nephew is kind of like, yeah, I don't need to sit and watch this. You know, 30-odd-year-old man. He's like, yeah, this ain't for me. But I think there were other people that said they were, quote unquote, and everybody gets offended these days over everything, but they thought that her turning into the panda represented, well, when you hit puberty, then all of a sudden you get big, you get fat, you get bloated, you get emotional
Yikes.
and smelly and whatever. Like, I don't know why. It's a cartoon, people. It's a cartoon. Like, it's got a great story. It's got a great message in it. But that was some of the feedback that people were saying online, that the panda represented the not nice part of
Well, the panda was adorable, first of all. And then that scene when she first finds out, like, and her mom's making assumptions, like, that's just funny comedy, right? Like, and maybe uncles and dads might not think it's funny, but it really is just as funny as any other, like, the mom, you know, trying to grab everything together and she's in the shower and, you know, trying to make, you know, like, don't look in, don't do this, like, that's pure comedy. It's gold, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny jokes that you'd expect in that situation, right? So
yes. And her whole, you know, she doesn't want to deal with it. She doesn't want to talk to her, the embarrassment. Well, and then the mother, that's the same thing that happens when what her mother was assuming was happening, that's how you feel. Except her mother doesn't know on the other side. Well, her mother should know because her mother should know that's what happens, but yeah, like she's thinking one thing and she's like, no, I'm a big fluffy panda. And the mom not knowing how to talk to her, it kind of showed a different side from the mother's perspective. Mm-hmm. But yes, it was, and, you know, her trying to get her mother's approval and always be the good daughter and do the right thing. And then really just wanting to be herself and be who she is. And I love the fact that she was confident. She really was confident in the, you know, when she was playing the basketball stuff, and she just didn't care. And I kind of love that. And her friends, oh my gosh, her friends, I love them. I love them because cute. They were such a mix of personalities, but yet they all gelled well together.
They were like they were a mix of like what friends, like your friends for whatever reason, and you're just, that's what it is, right? Like everybody can be different or have their own quirks and like different things. What
about when the family showed up?
Oh, the aunties?
When all the aunties and the grandma showed up. I love the grandma. I love the grandma because it was fun to see the mother who was so in control. And then all of a sudden it was like she turned into a little girl as soon as her mother showed up.
Yep. And
then the aunties. I loved them.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite parts, like towards the end with all the aunties.
They were awesome. So there were a lot of references in that movie, the Canadian references, and quite honestly, some of them I didn't get. Like I didn't even notice. Notice.
What do you mean you didn't notice the Canadian references? Did you see the Timbits on the kitchen table?
No, I didn't see the Timbits. So, and there was the kid, you know, the kid that was the bully and then he wasn't? Mm-hmm. He was wearing a jersey that was a number 15, which apparently is like one of the Toronto Raptors, Vince Carter jersey. Like it was the same jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, but I did read that was in there.
I did notice though, outside the Sky Dome, the Blue Jay. Did you see that they drew in an actual Blue Jay? Which is fun, which is, if you're listening, our basketball,
baseball team is the Toronto Blue Jays.
Our baseball is the Toronto Blue Jays. I did not see Timbits. The Timbits
were on the breakfast table and the dad went to go pick one out and she told him not to have one. She slapped his hand.
I think I must have missed that. And there was somebody else that called out they knew it was from that long ago because the $5 bill looked different.
Yeah, the Canadian money. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're the old $5 bill, but like all the money's colorful. So like when they're raising all the money, it's Canadian money, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then they did show her like Metro Pass, which is our pass for the Toronto Transit Commission. So to get on the bus and streetcars and stuff, they showed her little pass, which is funny. And we all kind of had
people were saying passes. They loved that the streetcar was the old streetcar because now we have like those new age space streetcars, and it's an old school TTC streetcar with the metal seats and the red lining and
the dinging bell.
Yep, the dinging bell. I'm trying to think of what else.
I haven't been on a streetcar in I don't know how long. But yes, it was the old school streetcars.
And then the Lester B. Pearson school, her school, that's the name of a real school.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
So somebody
cool.
said that when they were cleaning the temple, the kids spray painted the number 6, which means Toronto. But the 6 wasn't a thing back in 2002.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So we call
it might be still like just a reference because that's kind of popular now. Like
it's popular now.
Everybody knows that.
The Degrassi kid that sings it. Drake. He made it kind of popular, the 6, which
I might
means
have had some crushes on some Degrassi junior high actors when I was a kid too.
Did you?
But they weren't in like Big Bop and Teen Beat magazines because they were Canadian.
They were Canadian, so they didn't really get much love.
Right.
No.
But
yeah, they call us the 6 because we had 6 boroughs that come together to make Toronto, right?
Or the 416.
Oh, is that it? Because our phone numbers start with 416.
Because the area code is 416, so we called it the 6.
Oh, I thought
Drake
it was...
can do that. It might be the 6 boroughs. I don't know. Google it. You think it's the 6 boroughs? I think it's...
I thought it was because we were 6 boroughs that come together to make Toronto.
I think as a Canadian, like you almost like...
We're going to get our passports revoked.
As much as every person loves certain things about Canada, I think it's almost like you have to love Drake too. Because he's...
I can't.
Well, I think a lot of people feel the way that I do, that they just, no matter what, they have to like Drake. Him being at the basketball games, being in everybody's face because he's the ambassador of the Toronto Raptors. So he's courtside and he's like face to face with the opposite team players till they got to tell him to like, back off. He definitely... I don't know, like I could see him going like he grew up in the 416 and being like, yeah, I'm going to call it the 6 because that's what Drake can do. He can be like, I'm just going to call it the 6. I don't know that he's thinking like, I remember I don't even know that where you taught about the 6 boroughs when you went to school in Toronto.
No, I think I Googled it one day. I'm looking now. So I'm Googling it. Drake finally explains the 6.
Is it because of the boroughs?
It must have been Drake that came up with the 6.
He did. That is a fact. That Drake came up with that, with calling it the 6. 100%.
Okay. Yes,
100%.
our area code is 416, Drake said, laughing. We were debating on the 4, but I went tail end in on them on the 6. At one point, Toronto... No, but listen. At one point, Toronto was broken up into 6 areas. Old Toronto, Scarborough, East York, North York, Etobicoke, and York. So it's all clicking, man. That's what he said.
So it made sense. So he was like, should we call it the 4?
It's the 416 and then the 6 boroughs. So there you go. So we're both right. I like that.
He put 2 and 2 together and he's like, it definitely has to be the 6 now.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I think something I would think that, the creators of the director or the writer, or whatever, they're younger, than us, where we are debating whether it's the 6 because of the 6 boroughs. Like, regardless of whether it fits in the 2002 timeline, like, I think it makes sense just to, for that reference to be the 6. Like, I could see that.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to say that these kids made it up, not Drake.
Oh, maybe. Maybe they're taking credit for it.
Oh, dear. What else? What there's other Canadian things? I'm sure there is some.
I'm sure there is, but I mean, I think the streets, it really does represent what growing up in Toronto is like. I guess in 2002, we were a few years before that. Flip phones
and Tamagotchis and whatever. Yeah, we were a bit older.
Yeah.
So
I was already working when the flip phones came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Spotify came up with a playlist? So they created playlists on Spotify for Maylin and her friends.
No.
So, so there's like 4 playlists. Miriam has a playlist. Abby, Priya, and Maylin each have playlists on Spotify if you Google them.
Oh, I gotta listen to that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So they've created like their own playlist. So
is it like just gonna all be 4-Town songs?
No. So Maylin has like It's Gonna Be Me by NSYNC.
Oh yeah.
I Want It That Way, the Backstreet Boys. Oh my gosh, I love the Backstreet Boys. I was already an adult.
Isn't one of those songs at the very beginning of the movie? Like that's how it opens with one of those Backstreet Boys or NSYNC songs or whatever. Which one?
Yeah. See, those bands were all when I was an adult.
Yeah, I was a little. I was definitely even for New Kids on the Block. Like I feel like I was like a year. Like, that wasn't my thing to start with. Like, I liked, New Edition and Boyz II Men. But I find that, like, I was listening to, like, R&B, like, not that. But I still think I was, maybe a year, like, I was still maybe a year off. Like, if I would have been a year or two younger, I would have been a New Kids on the Block fan. But, like, they're the original one. So, like, if I'm saying I'm a little too old, I was, probably because of the music I listened to wasn't like that. But I think still my age was a little off. So I didn't even like boy bands. Yeah, Candy Girl, New Edition, the original boy band.
I'm trying to think. I don't think when I was in middle school there were really any boy bands or anything. Like
pretty much New Kids on the Block. And you're a little bit older than me, so yeah, you definitely wouldn't have. But you would have been like, seriously, girls?
Yeah. One time, well, I did take my niece to a Backstreet Boys concert once, and all she kept saying to me was, "Please don't embarrass me. Like when we get here, please don't embarrass me." Because she was young, she was trying to be cool. I was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm not gonna embarrass you. Your friends won't say anything. Whatever." So anyway, we get there, and she's like, "Just stay seated. Don't do nothing. Don't do anything." I'm like, "Yeah. Don't worry." So anyway, Backstreet Boys come out on stage, and I jump up on my chair and I start screaming, "Kevin, I'm over here!"
You did it.
I did. Yeah, she was mortified. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. I brought my niece to a concert. I don't remember. What's the one that had AJ McLean, whatever his.
AJ, isn't he,
old lady.
Isn't he the one wasn't he in the one with Justin Timberlake?
I think that's the one that my niece liked, whatever band that was.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so we went to the Sky Dome, and I drew the short straw and had to bring my niece to this concert. And yeah, like screaming people for hours and hours and hours. And then afterwards, I think we hung out, where, just to see if we could catch glimpses of them, like when their limos were leaving or something like that. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Sky Dome, lots of screams. So I did as well go to one of those concerts once.
See? There you go. Mine was all once. Bryan Adams. I did go to a concert, Huey Lewis and the News. Remember them?
Yeah.
I was at a Huey Lewis concert.
Oy.
Okay, now we're really dating ourselves. But it was, you know what? I think it really was a good representation of growing up in Toronto. And so much that we could relate to. And I just think back to, some of my crushes back in those days. And I thank goodness that that's all they were. And but remember when you were so head over heels for them and you thought that was the only one? Yeah. It was good. So check out those playlists on Spotify. They're pretty cool. And then there were a lot of Pixar Easter eggs in the movie as well. So the pizza, and I didn't see a single one of them when I was watching it. So are you good at that, Carrie? Are you good at seeing the Easter eggs? I never see them. I never see them.
I usually am looking for them. Like this time I watched and I wasn't really thinking of it. I was more looking for the Canadian references. But then I was like, oh yeah, the Pizza Planet truck's supposed to be somewhere.
It's usually in everything, but
yeah,
I didn't see it.
And it's on the street. When she's running through the streets as a panda, when she's on the way to the Sky Dome, and that street looks like, to me, that street really looks like a Toronto street. Like it looks like it
does it look like Gerrard,
or like I thought like the Danforth, like when you're or up on Queen Street, like and then not like a little bit farther out from downtown. Like it looks like, to me, that really looked like the Chinatown didn't look like our Chinatown, but it looked like a Chinatown. I didn't think it looked like. Been to lots of dining establishments in Chinatown, and I was like, I don't know if that's our Chinatown, but it's a Chinatown, and that's okay. Maybe because the Spadina would be just too much.
Yeah,
not enough room on the screen.
Not enough room on the screen to fit everything in on what we have on Spadina.
But yeah, the Pizza Planet truck is in there, and there's like a Pixar ball. I think there's what else did we Googled it to see so that we could. Yeah, but we didn't want to give too many.
They have spoilers. A Finding Nemo sticker in there. There's a Finding Nemo sticker.
Okay, just tell them all. Yeah.
No. I'm not going to tell them all, but yeah, there's quite a few things in there if you want to see them, and a nod to Lightyear. So there is a Lightyear sticker in the movie as well, and that's, for the new Buzz story. Right?
Yep.
Buzz Lightyear story.
Buzz Lightyear.
So yeah, that was our movie review. How did we do? Carrie, what do you think?
I think we just need to call it, maybe not a review.
What are we going to call it?
I guess it's our review, what we thought of it. So I think we did okay.
Yeah. I don't know. See, people keep saying, I wish you guys would do movie reviews. Well, this was one.
Really? Really? You got it.
Really? Was this it? What did you think? I don't know. But anyway, it was a good movie. I liked it. I don't know if I'd watch it like 2 or 3 times. Like, it's no Zootopia.
I think like that panda's pretty cute. So like when she turns into the panda, she's kind of cute. So
you would watch it again and again just to look at the panda.
Well, I just think it's cute.
You're like the little friend, the little friend she had that was like, oh my gosh, turn into the panda. You're so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby.
Yeah.
Abby's the one that's like wants to give her the hugs all the time, right?
Right.
All the time.
Yeah. I think it's, it definitely made me laugh. There were quite a few parts that made me belly laugh, which surprised me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We'll see what people say. Send your hate mail to to @MuppetCrazy on Instagram. Oh, good grief. All right. So, Carrie, that was good. And here you are. You said to me it'll only take we'll talk for like 5 minutes. Look at us. See, we
always got something to say, whether
it's interesting or not.
What I say doesn't make a lot of sense, and then you got to try to pull it all together.
I'm not sure.
You got to circle it back and try to come back to a point for me. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, we did okay. All right then. Pixie dust, Carrie. What's your pixie dust this week?
Well, this week, my pixie dust is that I had a little side gig. I had to do some cat sitting for a cat named Phoebe. She's a Devon Rex, this little tiny Devon Rex.
And you say that like people know what a Devon Rex is.
Some people will. And anyway, so I had to go over and visit twice a day Phoebe in her house. And really, she's such a tiny cat. Like, this house was like a mansion for her. She's so tiny. Like, I felt bad leaving her all alone in this house. Like, aww. I might suggest next time that I have to be a live-in cat nanny when they go away. But it was a fun thing to do because I love cats, and I wanted to meet Phoebe because of COVID. I hadn't been able to cat sit her yet, and I hadn't been able to really meet her, so I got to spend a little time with this cat, and it was nice and quiet over there. Like, there's only one cat. There was no other noises. It was just me, an empty house, Phoebe. And a cat that was practically ignoring me most of the time. So wow. It was peace and quiet. I did my Wordles. Did some puzzles on my phone. Gave Phoebe one too many treats, probably. Read they have like. Do you remember when? Well, you might remember how when we were younger we used to have the Owl and the Chickadee magazines. Did you ever get those? You're probably like, no, Carrie, you're crazy. But there's Canadian magazines.
Where is she going, Carrie? Did you ever get anything that was not like TV Ontario and Canadian? A Chicken and an Owl magazine?
There's a magazine, Canadian magazines, and the one for the little kids was called Chickadee, because we're Canadian, and then the next one up for the bigger kids was called the Owl magazine. Anyways, they had they had like a basket of Owl magazines for the kids, and I was like, fantastic! Oh my God. So when I was done my Wordle, I was like, all of a sudden I'm like 10 years old again, and I was reading the Owl magazines.
Oh my God!
It was quite entertaining, quite enjoyable.
Have to Google it.
It was a nice little getaway.
It was Carrie's little getaway
yes,
twice
folks,
a day.
That's what I need right now. An empty house and an owl magazine.
Oh my gosh. And the Wordle. So you're doing these Wordles. I've been doing them too, but
I do the Wordle and I do the Canadian Wordle, and I wasn't going to do them at
there's
first.
a Canadian Wordle?
There's a Canadian Wordle. And I every morning, well, today I didn't do it till later, but every morning I do my Wordle, and my aunt and I send each other our Wordle. So that's what we do. Like, it's kind of like every morning we check in and send each other our Wordle. So it's kind of like a bit of a routine.
Competition.
Not a competition, just to show each other. It's not a competition, no.
Just to see.
She showed me her Wordle things, and then like I wasn't doing them at all until like I was at my mom's house and they were doing them, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. So then she sent me her Wordle, so I sent her mine. So it's sort of just like checking in. That's all. I don't know. Keeping each other accountable. So it's just a word.
It's a word game. Everybody's posting. I don't need to see them on Facebook and stuff. Everybody's posting them online. Like, I don't need to see how many guesses it took you to get it.
You can send your Wordle to me.
Send your Wordle scores to Carrie.
No, you.
Oh, me. You want me to send it to you? I'm Muppet crazy. I do it sometimes. Like, sometimes if I'm just like I need a distraction. But yeah,
it's all right. Get your brain,
get your brain moving,
moving.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay.
The Canadian one, like you have to think it's got to be like a Canadian word. Like I don't know, but whatever.
Like what's a Canadian word?
And my aunt sent me a Daisy, like a Disney one, and the very first word was like it was 5 letters, so I wrote Daisy, and I caught it, and I sent it to my aunt. And she's like, I put Daisy too, and that's what I got. And I'm like, yeah, we'll skip. We're not getting on the Disney Wordle train.
Yeah.
2 Wordles is enough.
I think so.
Anyway.
I think so.
So, what's your pixie dust?
My pixie dust, a little different than your little getaway. Carrie's vacation getaway.
A total of 8 hours of bliss.
Yes, it was fantastic, I'm sure. Mine is, I finally bought a new printer. Yay. My nephew will be thrilled, so I can stop getting him to print stuff for me. And I know you're like, what do you print? Because I am online all the time. I do everything online. But there's just certain things like that you need to print, especially we're in tax season.
And that warrants you getting like buying an entire printer.
Yes. So let me tell you this. I cannot stand when my ink runs out. It costs a fortune to replace it. And my printer would never stay connected to my Wi-Fi. It was just old. It was falling apart. It drove me nuts. So I've been eyeing those printers, the ones that Shaquille O'Neal endorses.
My guy.
Where the ink is refillable. So you don't go out and buy cartridges. You actually buy ink that you squirt into the tubes in the printer. And
that doesn't sound like it's like
much
would always
cheaper.
Work well.
Yeah.
The ink doesn't go anywhere?
No, it doesn't. I filled the 4 tanks myself. I didn't get 1 drop of ink on me. I got to tell you, that's impressive considering the last time I replaced the cartridges in my old printer, my lovely gray shirt that I had was covered with black dye because you're supposed to shake the things before you put them in the thing. And I didn't realize when I had the cap off. Anyway, this went well and it's all set up and it works perfect and I can use it from my phone and I love it.
Is it a small printer in size?
No, it's a regular size, like a printer size.
Wondering.
What do you mean a small printer?
No, I just wondered if it was like more compact or if it was like a big like. If printers have gotten smaller over the years, or if they're still like regular size of a printer.
Yeah, no, I think it's a regular size. It's a regular size printer because you need the screen to be like 8x12 and.
And it's an Epsom, right? That's the.
Yeah, it's an Epsom EcoTank, however you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen.
You just Google Shaquille O'Neal printer, it comes up.
I never really knew that he endorsed printers. Although I have seen, like, he's got the standees up at the Staples, which I usually pose and do selfies with. So I guess he's always been selling them.
He's been selling these printers.
I swear, again, as like everything listens. Like once you told me like your printer and your Shaquille O'Neal, like I've been seeing ads because the phones they listen.
They listen.
They know.
They know what you're talking about.
So I have seen ads since.
Yes.
And I was like, well howdy doody, look at that.
See, it's a good printer. Mm-hmm. So if you need anything printed, Carrie, I'm your gal.
I got a printer.
I know.
I'm good.
All right. Well, mine's good. Anyway, so that was it. Yay. Made me happy. Thank you, everyone, for listening to our drivel. Like, sometimes I think to myself, oh my gosh, why do people listen to us? Because we talk a load of... Anyway, but if you enjoy it...
We talk a load of fun, is what we do.
If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and family and share us online. And yeah, definitely keep letting us know when you're listening. It's funny because we got... it was Ashley, I think, that said... She was listening like as soon as the episode dropped because she was so excited that we were talking about Disneyland on that episode. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're talking Disneyland. I'm like, don't tell Carrie that or every episode will be Disneyland. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, please, if you can, leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and come back next week because we promise not to do another movie review too close.
No,
right?
Not for a while.
Okay. All right.
You're welcome.
Next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.